Hello, everyone. Live from Nashville. This is Showcase. I'm your host, Vanessa Allen Meadows. And today with us, we have actress, director, producer, screenwriter, you name it, Loren Bolding. Welcome to the show, Loren.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, Miss Vanessa.
You're welcome. And I was looking over everything. What did you get started in first?
Well, I actually started acting when I was 9 years old. And it's a funny story how it came about because Arnold Schwarzenegger is my movie idol. I know we're not supposed to have idols, but I've loved that man since I was 9 years old. He was the first real movie I ever remember watching with my dad, and my dad was military at the time, big man. He was 6'2", 230 pounds of muscle. So he reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger when we were watching Predator together, and today Predator is still my favorite movie of all time. So anyone that knows me knows that I can watch that movie daily and not care. I'm just like, I must have my Arnie fix, and that's my Arnold fix. But so after I saw that movie, it encouraged me because I read up a little bit about his story around that age as well. My dad told me a little bit about him, and I fell in love with the acting world. And my mom started me out in theater, started getting me involved in church theater. Then I started getting involved a little older in community theater. And I discovered I had a real knack for acting and getting into characters and being somebody that I wasn't. So lots of good things have happened from there. I knew at 9 years old, I told my mom, and I'll never forget it, she was cooking dinner, and I said, Mom, I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to be at this time it was a horror movie because Predator to me was a horror movie. And I also saw American Werewolf in London, which blew my mind.
Oh, I love that movie. I didn't think anybody else saw it, but I mean, it just came on a couple of weeks ago, and I said, oh my God, American Werewolf in London, I've got to watch that. So, yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, and after I saw that movie, I was like, Mom, when I grow up, I might not be in Hollywood, I said, but I'm going to be a writer, a director, and an actress for horror movies. And that is exactly what I'm doing I'm going to age myself a little bit here, so don't judge me. 34 years old, that is actually what I'm doing with the independent industry right now, working my way up to hopefully status, the Hollywood status and whatnot. And if I reach it, awesome. If I don't, awesome. I'm still going to be doing what I love.
You're trying, yeah.
Absolutely. I am working really hard to make my own way, and it's a long, I took a break for several years because I went to college. My mom wanted me to get my education and not in theater or anything like that, which I really wanted to do, but I still took film classes and filmmaking classes, not necessarily directing classes, but classes on, shot listing and, the production side of things, and acting classes, of course. It was always a passion, so those were my extracurriculars. And that's where I learned to put a lot of stuff in motion that I'm actually doing today as well, was through those classes. And my first horror movie was terrible.
Our first movies they're not the best that we want. I mean, we think we do well with them, and then we look at them and we're like, maybe we could have done this a little better. But, you did it, you learn from it, and you move on and make things better.
I do. Yeah. I love it. It was in college, my very, very first. It was like a 2 or 3 minute short because that was the project that we had. And we had to go from script to screen within the semester. He wanted certain language in it. So he gave us the several pieces of dialogue that he had to have in it, and that was it. No other dialogue. Everything else was improv. So we had to create a dialogue-free script that added his pieces of dialogue that he wanted in. And overall, we got an A in it.
Oh, good.
But overall, looking back on it, I'm like, that was terrible. That was terrible. What was I thinking? I can't believe we actually did this, but it was fun and I enjoyed it. And I got married, had kids, and so that dream of mine kind of went down by the wayside until I probably was about 28, 29, and my kids at that point were a little older where I could start focusing back in on my movie career, because I've always loved acting. I've always loved digging into the psychology behind the character. And I believe that once a person digs into the psychology behind their character and gets deeper knowledge of their character on the purest of animalistic bases, from beginning of birth onto the decisions that they made where they are now, it is a more believable, natural delivery.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm working with my cast and crew now for Redemption's Price, helping them bring those characters. Like, they're all phenomenal actors. I don't want you to think like, oh, no. They're all phenomenal actors. It's just I have specific things that will jog their minds into
Mm-hmm.
getting them thinking about their characters in a deeper form, for that when they're ready to deliver it, it's going to be so natural.
Oh, that's good.
And people are going to
So
be so shocked.
I'm sure you have an NDA and you can't
Mhm.
speak about it.
Yeah.
So, I can't ask you a lot about what you're working on now, but we do know that it's a horror film, right?
Redemption's Price is a vampire horror film. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So I got that much out of you.
Yep. Yep.
Can you tell us any of the actors that are going to be in
Oh
it, or?
wow, yeah. I will talk about my cast and crew like there's no tomorrow. And though we do have NDA and there's certain things that are quiet, I mean,
Mhm.
the synopsis and stuff like that, you can find all this on IMDb. I'm one of those filmmakers that when I know that I have a direction that I'm taking with a movie and I know that it's going to be produced and out there for the public eye, I make an IMDb page. Some people wait until it's post-production to even
Oh
try.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I like to put things on my resume rather quickly, so I'm going to make sure I update rather quickly, because you put something on your resume that's not on IMDb, and that can kind of start getting people in trouble. Like, why isn't it up yet? Is this
Oh
truthful?
yeah.
So
Right.
I make sure that my cast and crew are taken care of in that respect. And even though it's pre-production, still, like, we're raising funds for it, and we've already had the locations. I'm going back down there in March and hanging out with a few people, and getting the shot listing and storyboard done for the locations that we have that I wasn't able to do last time. And if I start rambling on, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
But it's about a 16th century vampire who was given a prophecy, that when he finds the woman of his youth, and that woman being the reincarnation of his wife that was murdered, um, and the set of circumstances that he goes through, after about 400 years, he finds her.
Oh wow.
And now, with his prophecy stated the way that it is, he can't reveal to her that, well, he reveals that he's a vampire, but he can't reveal that he's going to change her for any sort of situation, because he could lose his prophecy. His prophecy is that he can gain back his mortality. It's the only vampire to ever be prophesied that. So he's going for 400 years with this prophecy, wondering when it's going to be fulfilled. But there's a lot of situations that go on in the movie, and Michael Anglin plays my lead, Michael Arden. And there's a lot of different situations that he internally has to struggle with, because, of course, finding the woman of your youth who you loved, you were going to have a child with, you were married, you were nobility, you were having a great life.
Oh
All of a
yeah.
sudden, she's reincarnated. But his love has her own history. And that's where the twist comes in. And that's where I have to stop talking about it right there, because it's something unique.
And I was getting into it.
I know, I'm sorry. Well, I want the audience to know and understand that through this script and developing it, I have completely rewritten the history and origins of vampires.
Oh, nice.
So when they see Redemption's Price and how well it's going to be done, we've done a lot on this film so far. They are going to see phenomenal acting, incredible cinematography, and not only a story that you can get into, but now the story that I have is going to be comparable when other vampire movies come out, because of the way that I've written it.
Yeah,
So
I love vampire movies, especially the one with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that one. That was really good. Very long. You have to make sure you're awake. It's not late at night, to watch this. But yeah, I can't wait for it to come out. I'm game. I'm ready to watch it. I mean, just let me know when it's out, or you can just send me an autographed copy of the DVD when it comes out.
Absolutely.
I have
Absolutely.
it. I would love that. And is there anything else you would like to mention, like how you got started into directing? I know you told us how you got into acting, but how did you get into directing?
Well, that's funny that you say that, because I started my production company because I wanted to act, because I wanted to learn how to direct, because I wanted to produce, I wanted to write my own stuff. I had kind of, at the few years of acting that I've had, I kind of came to a screeching halt, so to speak. I got an agent, and I'm very grateful for her, and she works hard for me as well as I work hard for myself, and she knows all this that I have going on. But everybody goes through a dry spell.
Oh, yeah.
And I've always had a sense to write something. And I'm not an author. So me writing my books and stuff like that just didn't happen. So I was like, well,
Mhm.
maybe I can put it in script form. So I started writing scripts. I did a lot of research. I found a good free downloadable program, and I wrote my first script, A Deadly Affair to Remember. And I was like, the way that I was making the movie in my head was how I learned through school and reading and research how directors go about making a film, the
Mhm.
breakdown, the shot angles, and how to direct people. And being an actress, I wanted to, and I'm not saying I'm a professional director or anything. I'm still gaining experience. I'm still learning. I'm still
Oh,
developing
yeah.
myself, and as I always will. But directing A Deadly Affair really encouraged me, because I know now how to direct actors. I can figure out their acting language, and from there I can direct them, especially if I know the psychology behind their characters. In writing your own stuff, you are all of these characters.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And that's why it took Redemption's Price a little over a year for me to write, because I was every single character. And it's mentally and emotionally exhausting when you're going through these situations and you're having to write the dialogue and everything.
Yes.
But with A Deadly Affair, I wanted to make sure that I could direct it. It was my directorial debut.
Right.
And it was submitted to film festivals and stuff. And, being my first main short film, there was a lot of lessons learned, lots of goofs along the way, but I learned how to direct my actors from there. So everything that I'm doing has a lesson that I'm learning, that I'm developing to bring on to Redemption's Price. And then Michael Anglin, with Redemption's Price, he's also a director, and he's directed a lot of stuff. And so I'm gleaning off of him, and I'm learning from him, because we've worked on several projects together. We've worked on Consequences together. We worked on A Deadly Affair 2 short. He was my voiceover for my detective. We're working on Redemption's Price together. We're going to be co-writing stuff together. So there's a lot of things that I'm gleaning off of him, because he's been in the industry a little bit longer than I have. So, and he's directed a large group of people. So I'll be able to get his advice on that front as well. So it's honestly, it was just something I wanted to do. And since I didn't have the money to go back to school or to pay for a school for that amount of time, what better experience? I believe in education. I ain't even
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
lie, but I believe in the right education, and you can't beat life experience.
That
To
is
me, that's
true.
the best education. And so I wanted to experience, I wanted to fail, and then I wanted to improve. Because I say fail is not a negative word unless you fully give up and quit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If I had left A Deadly Affair and just said, that's it, that would have made me a failure. But I learned from my mistakes, and we just got done filming The Jacobs File, where Tony Basili and I, he was also my lead, Grady. I'm in my films, so I've written my films for me as well.
Oh, yeah.
So he and I were directing it together, so I learned a lot about conflict resolution on set, how to, as a female, voice myself as director, how to help with camera angles. And I was gleaning from him too, because he has 20 years experience in this business.
Oh, wow.
And Tony has huge amount of technical experience when it comes behind the camera as well as in front. So I may have been the director, but I'm sitting there watching what he's doing, learning from him, especially how he was talking to people, how he was setting up the camera, how he was talking to the DP. And I was able to help when I wanted my vision delivered properly, but then I was also learning from him. And he has this amazing commanding presence where you want to sit and learn from him, because he knows his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I tell him that all the time. I actually just got done talking to him because we're editing The Jacobs File together. And I was like, just so you know, your name might be mentioned, but it's going to be good stuff, I promise. He's like a brother to me, one of my closest, dearest friends. And I loved, I have a journal of things that I was writing every night as I was watching and developing my own acting muscle as, someone who's been in the industry for a long time. So that experience in itself, much better than I can get with theory from a school. Not saying that school just gives theory, but you've got to work to get that knowledge.
Well, I mean, they could tell you all day how to be a cashier, but until you actually get in front of that register and do it all, you're not going to know. I mean, it takes experience. Now, you mentioned that when you first started that you had found a script writing tool that was free.
Mhm.
Would you like to let everyone know what that is for the people that are trying to write scripts
Absolutely.
and they can't find one? What would that
Absolutely.
be?
The best thing for me was the free downloadable version of Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's CELTX. And there's other great software out there, but when I went onto Celtics, what I found amazing about it is it gives you examples of different types of scripts
Yes.
that you can
Yes.
write. And so using, let's just say, the Wizard of Oz movie,
Mm-hmm.
I read the entire Wizard of Oz script and I got the layout, excuse me, I can't talk. The layout of how I wanted a deadly affair.
Mm-hmm.
So my first script looks like that. Now, Redemption's Price, if you go online and you research Silver Linings Playbook and their script, my script in Redemption's Price simulates their layout.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking and reading and other scripts to get an idea of how Hollywood writes their scripts, because I've won awards for my scripts. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a 11-time award-winning scriptwriter. Um,
Woohoo.
Thank you. I'm not
Yay.
saying that to like boast myself. It's just
Hey, you
I
gotta let people know.
yes, thank you.
I
I
mean,
do.
that's what we're here for, to find out everything that you're passionate about, things that you love to do. Let people know how you did them, how you began, what software to use. I use Celtics.
It's
Um,
great.
it is. It's at first, you may get a little aggravated at it because it seems to not work. Read the instructions. It will tell
Absolutely.
you what to do, and then you can go from there. So you've got everything going on. You're acting, you're writing, you're directing. You've got all these films coming out, this vampire movie coming out, and I'm serious. I want an autographed copy. Um,
You'll get it. Trust
and
me.
she said it on air. Everybody, you guys heard her. She said it live. So, but I want to be in touch with you throughout everything to see where you're going with this, how
Yes,
big you
ma'am.
get, the next project that you're working on. I mean, I want to know everything, and I'm sure everybody else does too, because there's not a lot of people that can multitask. Women now, we can cook, have a child on our hip, do dishes, and vacuum at the same time. But there's a lot of people that can't, so they stick with one thing that they know. But if you want to branch out and become a director, you're going to have to study how to be a director, or find a director that will take you as a mentor, or something, so you can learn. And I've learned from Steve Oakes. Gosh, I can't remember all the directors,
Right.
but I've learned by watching them, and I thought, I wonder why they did it this way. And of course they say cut back at one. You do that for like 3 hours, and
Yeah.
then he'll finally say cut, that's a take. And I'm like, I get it. I see what he was going for. And to the normal eye, you probably wouldn't catch it, but a good director will catch the things that he doesn't like, and he will start everything over again. And you think you're doing everything exactly the same, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not. There's going to be
Right.
one moment that's going to be different, and that's what he is going to capture.
Yep.
So if you want to be anything, study, 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 try it. If you're an actor, an actress, audition. You may have
Mm-hmm.
to, like I said before, 1,000 times, and you will still get turned down. But there's going to be that one time that you're going to walk in and you're going to have one little thing that was different from all the other
Yep.
auditions. It's going to land you that role, and that's what those directors are looking for. Something
Absolutely.
that's a little bit different. They see thousands of people, and they're like, okay, here comes another one. Yeah, they did it the same. Next. But then somebody comes in and they're like, ooh, let's give them a call back. So when you get the call back, of course, do exactly what you did the first time, because you did something that caught their interest to give you the call back. So make sure, that you do it exactly the same, or you will be put with the other 1,000 that they turned down in the first place. So
Unless they
yeah,
give you
listen
direction.
to
Absolutely.
Lauren.
I agree.
Yeah. Listen to Lauren, and she's giving you great advice. And Lauren, if anybody ever asks you what is some of the best advice that you can give on being a screenwriter, an actress, a director, any of that, what is some of the best advice for a beginner?
Learn something new every day.
Very
Whether
good.
you're researching on YouTube, whether you're Googling a question that you don't know, pick up a book. There are so many incredible books, and to this day, I've been acting since I was 9 years old, and I started, in my early, late 20s, early 30s, and to this day, I still, when I get an audition, I look at my book called The Auditioning Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives you the things that you really need just to put yourself in the character's shoes, so to speak, where you're at, who you're talking to, be in the moment, that type of stuff. But sometimes you just need a refresher, even if it's just a quick peek down, the page. But if you want to go deeper, there's a book called Audition for Your Career, Not the Job, by Tim Phillips. And I still, to this day, I love reading that book, especially when it comes to character psychology, because there's a lot of psychology in that book. But I also love Ivana Chubak. And I would consider myself a Chubak student, because I love what she does when it comes to developing the mind behind the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got like Halle Berry and Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Tom Hanks, that a lot of people like that, just, you can tell. And this is what I tell. I'm also an acting coach. So when I'm coaching my students, you can tell when an actor is in character, living that character, versus just acting for the camera.
Exactly. Yeah. Because when you're a character, you become that character. Everything else you're going to forget, but you're going to become that character. You're going to eat, breathe, sleep. When you get off the set, you're still, especially if they have like a Southern dialect, you go home and you're just talking all Southern, and they're looking at you like, what are you doing? And you're like, well, I'm staying in character, because, it's easier the next day to pick up if you remain that character. Now, I'm not saying if you're a character in a movie where you go out and kill people, don't go home and do that. Don't stay in character.
Break yourself away from the play.
Right.
You got to come back to reality.
Exactly. But yeah, stay in character and listen to her. And Loren, when you get someone that's auditioning in front of you, is it okay for that actor or actress to say, hey, give me a breakdown of this character? What are they about? Is it wrong, or do you appreciate that the actor wants to know these things so that they can give the best performance they could give?
Well, there's two ways that you can go about something like that. From my casting experience and being in front of casting directors, I'll go ahead and let you know. As a professional actor, when you get a set of sides, they expect you to know your character and be off book. You can still have your sides with you during the audition, just in case, you flub, we all flub, we get nervous, we forget our lines, and then we just we look at it real quick, and then we jump back into character. But from a casting director standpoint, with all the research, with me casting in general, the best thing for someone to do is have that character breakdown. You're given the set of sides for a reason. Now, unless the casting director wants you to develop that person yourself, they're not going to give you a whole bunch to play with. I've had sides for roles that had nothing to them. They just had the dialogue. There's no action. There's no breakdown. Oh, here, have fun.
Exactly. And that's what I was asking for. If you go in and it's a cold read, you've never seen the script, you don't know this character, are they wanting someone sad, emotional, angry? I mean, how do you know what they want without asking?
You've got to make your choices. As an actor, you are taught from the beginning, make your decisions, make your choices, and stick to them. I love cold reads. I love going in, getting a script, and 15 minutes later, I'm in front of the casting director, because that's, and a lot of actors, it stumps them, but that's what gets your creative juices flowing. If you know how to do a character breakdown, if you study long enough, and it's going to take practice, and it's going to take you flopping in front of them in order to get you going. But man, you get that character breakdown going, and you're this assassin, and that your monologue is leading you down a road of saving a little girl, and you're angry or you're excited. You have that 15 minutes to develop that character. And at a cold read, it's okay if you've got to look on your script, if that's okay with the casting. You want to ask them first, is it okay? And most of the time they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's up to, but now you're getting into cold reading, so that's different from getting a set of sides a few days before you're supposed to. So if you get a couple of sides a few days before, you need to know that character, you need to know them lines, you need to be off book, because that's going to impress them. That's going to tell them, I've done my homework, I'm professional, I'm not wasting your time, you're not wasting mine. Thank you for my 2 minutes, have a lovely day, I'm gone.
Yes.
That impresses casting.
Well, I love improv. Yes. I love it when they come in and say, hey, what I want is a character whose daughter's fixing to commit suicide and you got to save her. Give me what you got. And I'm like, okay. So they slate me in and I give it to them. I mean, I sock it to them. And they're like, when is your availability? I'm open. It just, sometimes it's surprising. And when you get into character, I found, especially if it's very emotional, like you are trying to save someone from suicide. And at first you're angry at them because they're doing it. And then you can empathize with how they feel because you've been there before. And then the waterworks or alligator tears, and that impresses them, where you're still looking at the camera, but you've got this man click, 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 kitty, click, 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 all the way around you. Like, okay, I know I'm supposed to look at the camera. They told me don't take my eyes off of it, but there's somebody over here clicking, someone over here clicking, but they love it when they want you to do the improv and be very emotional, so emotional that you're mad, you're upset. And then it's like a release. And then when you release, there's just tears flowing, And so improv, it's a lot different than your cold reads. It's a lot different than getting a script. And all I can say is you just have to study, and you don't know what you can do until you do it and audition. You're not going to get a big major part with an A-list actor on your first time out of the gate.
Right.
It's not going to happen. But
everybody's got to make their way. Everybody's got to put in.
Start at the bottom. You do. You just can't. I mean, unless you're Keanu Reeves or someone, you're not going to just
a long time.
miss a few rungs of that ladder. You've got to have to take every step to get to the top. And they've worked for it. Like I said before, Sylvester Stallone, he was at rock bottom, had to sell his poor dog just to get something to eat. He sold the script. And of course, they didn't want it for a while, but they took it and gave him the shot. But he didn't go in blindfolded. He acted before he got the part of Rocky. Same way with Billy Bob Thornton when he wrote Sling Blade. He didn't just take it to him and say, I want to be an actor. He's acted before, but he's never done the A-list. So sometimes you may not get a part, but you have all these creative juices flowing inside that you want to do something, and you've got these great ideas. Write them down. You don't know. Download Celtics. Write your ideas on paper. Celtics will help you get it into script form. You don't know. You could be the next whoever you want to be. But you have to put in the work if you want to do it.
Absolutely. I didn't know that I was going to be a screenwriter. I just wrote A Deadly Affair with research and a hope and a dream. That's what I want for everybody. I mean, so much phenomenal talent is thrown by the wayside because they're not A-list material, and they see the dark side of the industry. And with Bolding Productions, I want them to understand that I'm going to give you a shot. Now, I look for a certain level of decorum or professionalism, or are you delivering the character the way that I slightly see it? Can I give you direction and you take it? Are you humble? Are you at a place in your life where you could do this character?
Right.
So there's a lot of things that go into casting that I love, and then there's the side that I hate when it comes to found the people, and you have to give out the rejections, or you get so busy and you forget, and then you have people hurt because for one thing or another. And you know what? This is the acting industry. You have to have some kind of backbone. I've been told I'm too fat. I've been told I'm too small. I've been told my hair's not right. I've been told by a director, you remind me of my ex-wife. Bye. I'm like,
God, yes.
Me? And he goes, yeah, you. Bye. I'm like, thanks for your time. This was at an Atlanta audition, and I was like, it was for a TV series, and I was kind of thrown back. I was like, okay. I love live auditioning. I didn't waste, but I drove 6.5 hours. I spent the night there. So I used a lot of my own money to be in that audition, just to walk into the audition, not even, hi, my name is, you look like my ex-wife, bye.
Yeah. Now see, this industry is brutal. Maybe they don't like the color of your shirt. Maybe they don't like the style of your hair. Those things could be changed. But like you said, just to tell someone, you look like my ex, goodbye. Now that isn't right. But yeah, I myself, I hate casting. You go through so many people, and then you think you have the right ones because they did well at the audition. and you ask them, are you going to be available? Make sure you are, because when it's time to shoot the pilot, it's time to shoot the movie, and I can't find you, you'll never be in another project. And I'll tell everybody else, hey, how's this person? Do they show up on time? No. So I've unfortunately, but fortunately, had to let someone go because we had already taken the stills of part of the movie, and he's in that. So now we're going to have to shoot new stills, a new preview, and then the movie, because I can't find him. He disappeared off the planet. Maybe your vampire got him. I don't know.
I was about to say, did he get kidnapped by aliens? Like
something got him. But yeah, fortunately, I found another actor, and he said whenever it's time to go. And he's been in several things as well. And I have interviewed him, so he's ready to go. He's on board, and I told him, when you commit, you have to commit 100%. You can't say, yes, I want to do it. Everybody works around you, your schedule, get you out there, and then you're not there to finish the movie. Do you know how much that costs us, not only in time, but money, aggravation, to start all over from scratch? Because you can't write someone out of a script once they're the lead character. You have to start from beginning. So
absolutely,
everybody, if you commit to a project, you better be there. That's all I can say, because if you don't, you may not get a second chance.
And see, that's every indie filmmaker, even Hollywood, has those type of problems. People think that indie has their own certain problems. No, baby, it's the same thing as Hollywood. Don't think you anything special, because Hollywood has the scenarios too. But when I hire a cast or crew member, I give them the dates. I say, make sure you clear your calendar for these days, because this is when we're going to be shooting. I may not need you all of those dates, but I need those dates done, blocked, so that in case I need you for another call, or we have reshoots or something. So keep that open. And I can understand, especially when people are volunteering their time, or they have family
in the hospital,
or things happen all the time. But that's, also you have backups. You have understudies. And if someone is having a problem getting somewhere, then they need to let the filmmaker know ahead of time. So just in case an understudy is needed. Now, I'm going to give a big shout out to Antonio Sayas. This guy, he plays Malik in Redemption's Price. And I've been wanting to work with this gentleman for a long time. He's an incredible actor. He works really hard. There was a problem with somebody being not well on one of my movies, and he's fine now. He's fine now, and it all worked out. But I called Antonio clear out of the blue. I think I texted him. I said, "Call me ASAP," and he called me. Like, I think he was at work, and I was like, "Look, there's a situation here. They're not fully well. I need to know if you can be their understudy in case they don't show." He's like, "I'm on it. Send me the script. Send me the NDA. I'll do whatever I can to help you." And that level of respect and professionalism on how he sees my production, how he sees me professionally, is now how I see him. There is nothing I wouldn't do for that man. He has proven to me, and I didn't need him as an understudy, praise God, because everything worked out. The other person became well and killed his role in the movie. But I knew that I could go to Antonio when I needed him in a pinch. That's how humble, how loving this man is, and how he takes his career. And he has his own life going on. He has his own situations. But for him to take 2 minutes and say, "Yeah, I'm on it. Send me the NDA, send me the script. I'll read it over, and I'll get with you." And then I had to tell him, "Hey, guess what? This person got better. I don't need you as an understudy." He's like, "No problem. Let me know if you need anything else."
Now, see, that's very nice. A lot of people get irritated, at that, or they say, "Well, how much does it pay? How many films have you been in?" Exactly. And they're like, "Well, I haven't." And I said, "And you want paid how much?" Sometimes these indie films you have to volunteer for. Why?
Absolutely.
It gives you experience. It gets your face out there. It does all sorts of things. But if you've never been in a film, first thing off the bat, don't say, "How much are you going to pay me?" First thing is, "Okay, great. Send me an NDA. Send me a script. I'll read over it. If I like it, I'll get back with you as soon as I can." That is what you ask. Don't say, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to be in your movie. How much does it pay?" I didn't even tell you what the movie was about yet.
Right.
You know, you haven't signed an NDA. I can't do any of that. You know what? You're wanting $1 million to be in an indie, you know? So, I mean, you're not Brad Pitt. You're not Angelina Jolie. It is not going to happen. So, yeah, there's
You're absolutely
so
correct.
much, you know, that you can do out there.
I totally understand. And I have volunteered my time, to be honest with you, for the past 5 years on indie
Yep.
projects. It's not just all, no, this is just me. Everybody's going to be different. This is Loren Bolding speaking. I want to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid. I got
Obviously,
paid.
yes.
I got a house to pay for. I got all of this stuff going on, but I'm trying to make my name. And I don't mind, because this business is built on favors, FYI, I don't mind helping somebody if you're feeding me on set, if you're treating me with respect, and
Exactly.
you know that my work is good and I'm going to get a demo reel and IMDb credit. I will volunteer for your project.
And this is why Loren is on our show today. And that's why I volunteer my time to put special people on my show. Somebody that can give you insight, somebody that's sweet, that's humble. They don't mind volunteering. They just want to, I mean, they want to succeed, but they want to also see you succeed. So they're not greedy, money hungry people. I mean, they're people like you, you know, and I'm really glad you came on the show today. I have learned so much from you, and I've been in the business since about 2002 or 3. And
congratulations.
well, I quit though for a while because I had a family, you know,
Right.
and
Life.
so, yeah, life happens. You get married, you have children. You can't just run off and leave your children and go to LA and leave them behind, you know. So right at that moment, my children were my number one priority. But now that I'm older, they have children, and I'm not going to say how many they have children, but I'm up there. But yeah, you know, children come first. And
Absolutely.
now I'm at a point in my life, I'm getting back into it. And I thought, you know, there's a lot of people out there, such as yourself, that are doing absolutely wonderful things, and I would love everybody to know about it. Subscribe to my YouTube page, go to my Facebook page, go to Loren's under this video. She's going to have all of her links to some of her movies, her films, how to get in touch with her, maybe her IMDb page. Everything's going to be here, so be sure to click on that. Watch the things that this lady has done, because she's simply amazing. You just, I'm in awe. Really, I am.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I lost my first Vimeo account, and that's where my very first movie, A Deadly Affair, was on. And what happened is my it was hacked. And when I went to log in, it took me to my Facebook page, and then everything. So when I logged on, I was logging on through my email, and it got hacked, and they connected it to my Facebook page. So when I went back to it, all of my information, all of my videos was gone from my original Vimeo.
Well,
and that was my
cloud
dramatic
now.
monologues. Oh gosh, it was terrible. My comedic, dramatic, several of my movies were on there. I was heartbroken. And I'm sure I have them on my computer somewhere. I just haven't been, you know, looking for it. But yeah, this has been great. I have had a blast. Thank you so much for having me on. Bolding Productions has, you know, I'm in collaborations right now on, we're tossing around ideas for a script. I'm collaborating with Steve Ham. I jumped on as a co-producer onto another faith-based project.
Steve Ham is the one that I hired to be one of the lead characters in my film.
Oh my God!
Yes. Yay, Steve!
Steve is incredible. I cannot wait to work with him. We actually have a PP meeting on Monday where we're meeting over Zoom for our PP meeting to discuss what our script is going to be about. And so, because we're already getting messages from people who want to audition.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Well, I met Steve. I found him on Facebook. I read everything about him. And of course, he's humble enough to say, yes, I will do this for free. Give me the script, the NDA, let me know a time, which weather here in Nashville is crazy. If you don't like the weather, give it 2 hours, it's going to change. Today's going to be 63. Tomorrow it's supposed to be sleeting and snowing and raining. And I'm like, so you can't really get anything done. So I told him sometime in March, hopefully we can at least shoot some stills and the preview. And when we do that, I'm going to have you to sign a contract saying that you are guaranteeing us that you will finish this production.
Right.
Because we don't want to start all over again from scratch. We've done that before. And honestly, people, excuse me, but it sucks.
Right.
So don't do that to us anymore. But that is so funny, Steve Ham.
And it's so funny that you mentioned stills, because I was going to bring it to, because a lot of my actors are in Louisiana and Mississippi, and that's where I'm going. I was thinking about doing, you know, a Michael and Lily still and an Isabella Malik still. I just have to like collaborate the time for everyone to get together, but have them in vampire garb and have those stills as promotional tools.
Yes.
You know, the fundraising and stuff. So I wanted to bring that. And it's so funny that you said it, because I have it written down. Promotional stills. We don't have right now the money for a preview of the movie. So right now, promotional stills and our YouTube video for the GoFundMe campaign has to be good enough for now. Right. But it's so funny that you said that, because I was going to bring that up to them this week. So
yeah, and there's also other places other than GoFundMe. You can go to crowdfunding, Indiegogo. They do a lot of things with indie films, but in order to get their attention, stills just doesn't work. You're going to have a preview so they can see it, and then they say, okay, I like this, I'm going to go ahead and donate. Been there, done that. Stills doesn't get you anything. Anybody can take a Madonna, thing.
A Vogue.
Yeah, a Vogue. But it's put a preview out there. And if you don't have the money to do a preview, what I've done is actually I've had every single part of my cast and crew to volunteer their time to get a preview out there so donations come in. So that way when the donations come in, you start getting paid. I'm going to be the last one to get paid. I don't care if I get paid or not. Right. I just want this out there to show people what I can do, what I can write, what I can direct, how I can act, but I do know that, of course, I'm tongue-tied now. Thank you. The actors, the producer, the cameraman, the boom operator, the makeup artists, they all have to be paid. They're not going to volunteer their time for free when there's another project over here that's paying. So, if you can find some really good people out there, and there are good people out there, that's willing to volunteer their time, until the money starts coming in. And then that way it makes everything so much simpler to work with humble people, people that don't think they're above you, and it's really great, and I can't wait to work with Steve either. So I don't know if you're going to get him first or if I'm going to get him, but we're both going to get him. So we're after you, Steve. You got 2 women after you. Watch out.
He's a good man. I've known him for quite some time, and we have discussed previously, like trying to collaborate something with each other or wanting to work with each other. We've both been wanting to work with each other for a long time. He's an incredible talent. It's just, unfortunately, he wasn't able to audition for Redemption's Price in time. Role that I wanted him to audition for, which is fine. People have busy lives. I understand that. But now I get to work with him from script so I don't know if we're going to be in the script. I don't know if we're just going to write it, direct it, produce it. I told him because he wants to get into directing. And I told him, I said, I have no problem with you stepping in and, making your mistakes, letting help along the way and you directing this. I was like, I have no problem with that. I have no ego in this game, because if you got an ego, you're only going to get so far. Right. And you just can't have that in this business. And so if he wants to really honestly direct and learn how to do it, you got to learn by making mistakes. So that way not to make those mistakes again.
Well, on a film that you're financing yourself, though, and if you wrote the script, you wrote the characters, the characters better than anyone else. You know what you want them to do. So it's, to help direct would be great, but to just turn it loose and let them to direct, you're going to say, okay, this is not what I was after, so yeah, hey, you want to help direct? Go ahead. I don't mind at all, but I have the final say. I wrote it, I know these characters inside out. I've created them. So,
and that's why I'm going to be there.
Stay on the same
help
page.
Guide him and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything is a learning process. So everything that I've done up to this point has been a learning process, and I'm still always going to be learning, or I'm going to be dying, and I don't want to be dying anytime soon. So And
Learning, yeah, that beats the alternative, doesn't it?
and
But
any success requires that opportunity, you being prepared, you knowing your stuff, and it lines up. And if you want to be a success, you got to put forth the effort. You can't sit on a couch just networking all day and not doing anything.
yes,
You've got
exactly.
to invest in yourself, whether
Mhm.
it's headshots, going to classes, paying for auditions that you're submitting through Actors Access or something. You have to invest in yourself. And
Yes.
a lot of up and coming actors and actresses don't fully comprehend what they're going to be investing in because they need to learn that entrepreneurial mindset.
Oh, yeah.
This is your business. You are your own boss. There will be money that you will need to put into it, but there's money eventually that you're going to get back from it.
Exactly.
You can't just expect to start being an actress and you're a natural talent and you're getting all these roles and all of a sudden money's going to be popping out your computer. That's not going to
Oh
happen.
man, I was so hoping for that.
I know.
Weren't you?
Right? But I'm a firm believer, if you're volunteering your time, if you're getting fed, if you're getting credit, if you're getting your demo reel, you're getting experience, there
Exactly.
is no drawback. There is
Right.
no drawback.
It's
You
a
can only
win-win
push forward.
situation. Right.
Exactly.
Because it could be the part that gets you the next part, the next one, and the next one.
Yep.
You've got to start somewhere.
Mhm.
But Lauren, we are coming to the end of the show. I do have another interview to do, and I could sit here and talk to you all day. So keep in touch with me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would love to interview you again.
And I would be happy to be back on your show.
Yay.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much, Miss
everyone.
Vanessa.
Thank you. So everyone watching, thanks for tuning in again. This is Lauren, and she does everything. Amazing, amazing, amazing lady. Thank you, and we're out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I said we're out. There it goes.